Today we're talking about pricing, and do you put it on your website or do you not? And how much do you put on there and how much do you not? So if you've ever had this question, keep watching. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Allison. First things first, please excuse my wet hair. I have no excuses, except I do have an excuse. It was thundering and lightning last night. I usually wash my hair at night and it'll dry overnight sometimes it doesn't. But last night it was thundering and lightning, and my mother always told me, and the rest of the world, Google also has said this, don't get in the shower when it's lightning or you might get electrocuted. So I didn't. So I had to take a shower this morning, and I hate blow drying my hair because it makes me look like a poodle and it ruins my ends. So there are my excuses. I hope you can forgive me this time. It won't happen again, but it probably will. Anyway, we're talking about pricing today. Actually, I'm making this little series because last week we talked about discounts and when to give them, when not to give them, how not to be cheap. Go check it out if you haven't already. And this week we were talking about putting pricing on your website and how to do it, what's the word? And how to do it tactfully. Tactfully. So you might be wondering, do I put my pricing on my website in the first place? And here is one reason why you should. You should definitely display some type of pricing on your website just to give people an idea if they can afford you or not, because you will have people with a $200 budget and you'll have people with a $20,000 budget looking at your website, and you want to be attracting the person who is in your range of what you charge. So if you don't have pricing on there, a lot of times brides or couples will be looking at your stuff. That's the first thing they look for, and they're out of there if they don't see pricing. When my husband and I go on vacation, I usually try to book a photographer just to basically do like an anniversary session. It doesn't always work out at the right time, but whatever. And I'm always looking for a photographer, and if their pricing is not on their website, not even like we start at this, or like no inkling of pricing, no pricing tab, I don't usually waste my time there, and I move on to the next photographer unless I'm going to somewhere where there are no photographers and I have like one option, which really isn't the case these days. So if they don't have their pricing, I'm gone. If a bride stumbles onto your website and there's no pricing information, she's probably going to leave. Couples also don't want to fall in love with you unless they know they can and they can afford you. Think about it like this. Say you're single and ready to mingle and you're on Tinder and you're swiping whichever way, right? I think. Thank God me and Jason got together before Tinder. Whichever way you're swiping. Say you find this cute person and you want to go out on a date with them, right? You're talking, you're falling a little bit, but when you go out on a date and you find out that they have like a wife and kids and a hamster, how devastated would you be? That's the same thing that couples do. They want to make sure it's going to work out between you two, especially if they're looking for somebody specific. If you're a light and airy photographer, they want light and airy photos. It's a match, but they also have to be able to afford you. So before they can swipe right on you or whichever way, I really should Google that. They need to make sure that they can afford you, you're in budget. Even if you're a little bit out of budget, they might be able to make it work. So a little bit of pricing info on your website is definitely a good idea. Now, I wouldn't put all of your pricing information on your website for everyone and their mama to see. I would put a starting price that gives them the opportunity to inquire, to browse your website in the meantime while they wait to hear from you. And it gives them more of an experience to actually communicate with you rather than having all of your pricing and your photos and then making a decision. They know nothing about you or how your tone of voice is over email. And for wedding days, the photographer is with the couple the most. I would say 80% of their day is spent with a photographer. So if a couple already knows that, they want to find a photographer who they mesh well with, and they won't get that experience if they're just on your website. Everything's out for them to see and they make their decision. You might be thinking, if you don't have your starting price on your website or any pricing information, that you'll get more leads and people will inquire more with you. But that is true and false. It's kind of a blessing and a curse. I have tried this before where I left my pricing completely off and I said, contact me here to get my pricing information. And I got so many leads. It was overwhelming. It was just ridiculous, which sounds great, right? But it turns out that their budget was way under what I was charging. I would have literally, my budget is $200. What can you do? And I don't even know who to send them to because I'm not sure who charges $200. So I wasted a lot of time emailing people and recommending people. It just wasn't worth my while. So I prefer to kind of weed out people if they go to my investment page and they're like, oh, she starts at this, and it scares them away. That's a good thing for me. You want to attract and repel. You want to retrel. I think I just made a new word. You want to retrel. Hashtag retrel. I wonder how you spell that. RETRELL. I was in UIL spelling. It was a long time ago. Anyway, you want to retract and oh my gosh. Attract, repel, retrel. Okay. Attract, repel. You want to repel as much as you attract so that you don't waste your time. That's all. We made it to the end. Put your pricing on your website. Put a starting price on your website, not just any old price. That's it. There's your answer. I hope you enjoyed this. Please come back and see me. The beautiful thing about attracting and repelling is that I get brides that are just like me and they get it. So it works. You can be this weird and attract your ideal client and quit your day job and go full-time and make 6 figures. It's possible. Possible. Be sure to check out my freebies below. My whole entire Flash gear list listed below. Flash is kind of my specialty. If you want to learn more about it, comment below and tell me what your struggles are, what you need help with. I had to learn the hard way. No one taught me, so I don't know all the technical words and names, but I know how to make Flash look good and natural in any setting. Also, check out my other videos here. Be sure to like and subscribe. I forgot to mention that earlier. I'll see you next week. Bye. Y'all be sure to check out my Freeties. Oh my gosh. I think I need to eat something. I haven't had breakfast. It's 12:12. I always look at my watch at like 11:11, 12:12, 1:11, 2:22. Oh my gosh. It's a train wreck.